Welcome to CKLA Fairy Tales, Knowledge 9, Jack and the Bean Stalk, Part 1. Here's our fantasy versus reality chart. Take a look at that picture in the middle. Is that something that could happen in real life? A house made of cake and sugar, cookies that you can eat? That is something imagined. Fantasy. How about this picture of a mean, wicked witch holding a boy in a cage, trying to make him plump so she can eat him? Is that fantasy or reality? That is something in fairy tales, fantasy. And our last picture, a happy reunion between a father and children. Have you ever had a happy reunion with someone you haven't seen in a long time and given them a great big hug? This is something that can happen in real life. Happy reunions are a reality. We will continue to add pictures to our fantasy and reality chart. Our purpose for listening to our story today is to learn what is traded in this fairy tale and decide if it is a good trade, and to understand the word precious. Once upon a time, there was a poor widow, or a woman whose husband had died, and her only son named Jack, and a cow named Milky White. All they had to live on was the milk the cow gave every morning, which they carried to the market and sold. But one morning, Milky White gave no milk. "Oh, Jack," said the poor widow, wringing her hands, "we have nothing to eat and no money. We must sell poor Milky White." "Cheer up, mother," said Jack. "It's market day today. I'll sell Milky White. Then we'll be better off. You'll see." So Jack took the cow and started down the road. He had not gone far when he met an unfamiliar old man. The old man said, "Good morning, Jack." "Good morning to you," said Jack, and he wondered how the old man knew his name. "Well, Jack, where are you off to?" said the man. "I'm going to the market to sell our cow there." "Oh, yes, you look just the sort of fellow to sell a cow," said the man. "Now I wonder," he said to Jack, "do you know how many beans make 5? Jack thought this was a strange question, but he answered anyway. 2 beans in each hand and 1 bean in your mouth. That makes 5. "Right you are," said the old man. And then, pulling something out of his pocket, he said, "And here they are." He held out 5 very unusual beans. "Now, because you are such a smart fellow," he said to Jack, "I will trade you these beans for your cow." "Well, now," said Jack, "that would be a nice trade for you." "Ah, but you don't know what kind of beans these are," said the man. "If you plant them tonight, then by morning they will grow right up to the sky." "Really?" said Jack, who was beginning to get interested. "Yes," the man said, "and if it doesn't turn out to be true, then you can have your cow back." "All right then," said Jack. He gave the man the cow, took the beans, and went home. "Jack, are you back already?" said his mother. "I see you've sold Milky White. How much did you get for her?" "Mother, you'll never guess," said Jack. "Oh, you good boy," said his mother. "Did you get 5 or 10? Maybe even, no, it can't be, 20. I told you that you couldn't guess, said Jack. Then reaching into his pocket, he said, See here, Mother, I got 5 beans. You plant them, and then overnight, they... What? Cried his mother. Beans? You gave away my milky white for beans? How could you be such a fool? Off to bed with you, and no supper. And as for your precious beans, here they go, out the window. So Jack went to his little attic room without dinner, where he flopped down and finally fell asleep. When he woke up, the room looked funny. The sun was shining into part of it, but all the rest was dark and shady. He jumped up and went to the window. And what do you think he saw? Why, the beans his mother had thrown out the window had landed in the garden, and overnight they had sprung up into an enormous beanstalk, which went up and up and up till it reached the sky. So the old man had been telling the truth. The beanstalk grew right up to Jack's window. All he had to do was step out onto it and then start climbing it like a ladder. So Jack climbed and he climbed and he climbed until at last he reached the sky. And when he got there, he saw a long, straight road. He followed the road until he came to a great, big, tall house. And on the doorstep, there was a great, big, tall woman. Good morning, ma'am, said Jack quite politely. Could you be so kind as to give me some breakfast? Oh, you want breakfast? Said the great big tall woman. Well, you'll be breakfast if you don't get out of here. My husband is a fierce giant, and there's nothing he likes better than a nice cooked boy on buttered toast. You'd better get going, for he'll be coming soon. Oh, please, ma'am, said Jack. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Really and truly. Well, the giant's wife wasn't so bad after all. She took Jack into the kitchen and gave him a chunk of bread and cheese and a jug of milk. But Jack hadn't finished these when thump, 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 the whole house began to tremble with the noise of someone coming. Someone big. We will finish the next part of Jack and the Beanstalk when we're together again. But make a prediction. What is going to happen? What do you think happens next? Will Jack come down the beanstalk? Will he get his cow back? What about the man who gave him the beans? What about that something giant that's coming with a thump, thump, thump? What is going to happen next? Make your prediction.